Working with my dad is actually a lot of fun.
You know, we have four values, and one of the biggest ones is that our people are passionate about our business and define who we are. And I've often made the argument that you can go to other companies that make similar products and similar things, but what really makes the difference at PDI is the people and how they interact. Didn't we just have someone that called in and they were able to actually talk to someone, place an order?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that really is a big deal. And I know, especially with millennials, maybe not so much my generation, the boomers or even the Xers, but with the millennials and Zs, they want more out of a job than just doing work and getting a paycheck. They want to feel like what they're doing has relevance and meaning. And the products that we make, design, and build and send out, they impact people's lives in a very tangible way. I've told the story a bunch of times, but one of our consultants that was here, his father was he was being treated for cancer. It was in a hospital in Kentucky, and he couldn't wear his glasses because of whatever treatment he was having. So a TV on the front wall of a hospital room was useless to him. But a TV mounted on an arm that he could bring up close to his face, he was able to be distracted, to be entertained a little bit. It made his family members that were with him more comfortable. It really has an impact that you ordinarily wouldn't think that it does, but it really does.
Our people they truly value the company, they respect each other, they believe in our mission of helping patients alleviate the boredom and anxiety of healthcare treatment. And you pick up the phone and you get somebody on the phone within just a couple of rings. So that's I think our biggest difference.
I came to PDI as a general manager for Don Reddick. He was the owner at the time. PDI had kind of a history of going from owner to employee. So I came on as general manager, and I had been here for about 9 or 10 years, and I had a minority stake in the company. And I told Don, hey, I'd like to increase my ownership stake. And he said, well, I don't want to sell part of it. I want to sell the whole thing. And I thought he was joking. From that conversation, it took us maybe a month or 6 weeks to come up with a price. So then the question is, what made Marisa come here? I'll be interested to hear her answer.
The other thing, though, that I told our marketing team this little story. I'll never forget the day you bought PDI. You called me. I was living on the East Coast at the time, and you called me and said, "Hey, Maurice, guess what I bought?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know, a new car? No. A new boat? No. I don't know. What'd you buy?" PDI. So that was pretty funny the way he shared the news with my sisters and I. So how I came to be at PDI, it was really all a matter of timing. I was at a point in my career where I was ready for a change, and we were up at his cottage over Christmas one year, and he had mentioned that he needed to figure out what his exit strategy was. And PDI, we have a board of advisors that he relies on, and they were asking him, "What's your plan?" And his plan to die at his desk, they told him, was not a great plan. So he was trying to figure out what to do to come up with a strategy. And like I said, the timing was good. I was at a point where I was ready for a change, and I said, well, I might be willing to give it a try. So fortunately, PDI needed a salesperson at the time, and so I was able to get to know the customers, the market, the company, the people, while working in a sales position on the East Coast.
What she didn't tell you is that about, I don't know how much earlier before that,
it was like 5 years.
Some period of time before that, 3, 4, 5 years, I had approached her. We were looking for someone to run our international side of the business. And she was at USEC, making fuel for nuclear power plants. And she turned me down. She wouldn't come. She said I wouldn't pay her enough, and she wasn't coming.
Baloney. He never made me an offer. So working with my dad is actually a lot of fun. We are both very direct people that we don't keep much hidden. I think that works well. We both know where each other stands, and then the rest of the team here knows pretty quickly where we stand. So it's very, very open, sometimes maybe too honest working relationship. I get asked all the time, people seem to think I'm ready for him to retire, but I like working with him. It's fun. We spend a lot of time together, obviously, between work and then family vacations and whatnot. But the one thing we've always been good about is work stays at work. We don't talk about work when we're around my sisters or around their families or even around my husband. So that seems to have worked well.
Yeah, I think, when we're here, it's not father and daughter, it's boss and employee or supervisor and employee. It's not a father-daughter kind of relationship, and I think that's a good thing. We did a 360 review with the leadership team at the suggestion of my board of advisors. They saw us as working together. Not a lot. We knew where everybody stood. We knew where we stood. There was no confusion there. Knew what the objectives were. Had respect for one another. I know I respect her opinions and listen to them, and hopefully she listens to me. It's a good working relationship, and it's because it's more a relationship of two professionals rather than a daughter and a father.
I think it helps that I didn't grow up in the business. I had a career completely unrelated to PDI, and I think that helps. I was able to form my own professional attitude and just approach. So I think that's made a big difference. It's that I had all that experience outside of coming to work here.
It's always been like that, I think, and part of it, she didn't report to me right away. So she was working for Glen Rocco as a salesperson. She was located remotely out on the East Coast.
Like you said, I think it helped those couple of years where I didn't work for you.
Yeah.
Now I do work for him. My office is right next door to his. And when my house was being renovated, I lived with him. So was. But I mean, it's been. I've gotten to know my dad in ways that I didn't know him before. He mentioned being a good listener. That was something I didn't know about him before working for him. And I do remember a couple of the first conversations, I would voice some frustrations over whatever it was. And I felt like he was blowing me off. And it irked me. And then next thing you know, like 6 months later, he was making changes based on what I had said. So I appreciated the fact that he does listen, he takes it all in, and acting on something might take a little while, but that was good to discover.
When I first came to PDI, there wasn't really a leadership team. It wasn't a team kind of organization. It was more the owner and a couple of key managers made the decisions. The first thing I did was implemented a Monday morning staff meeting, and it was basically an information sharing. There wasn't a formal agenda or anything. It was just go around the table and share some highlights. So that was a big difference about how the company was run, when I first got here in '97 versus now. I tend to delegate a lot, give people responsibility and then hold them accountable. I may be a little soft on the accountability side, not being as strict about holding them accountable. I've never believed in witch hunting. Yes, I want to know why something went wrong, but not to beat someone up about it, but rather to learn from the experience and try not to do it again.
I would say that one of the big differences, we already had great products, but one of the things we've done over the last 10 years that I think has made a difference is that we've really taken ownership over understanding what our customers need our products to do. We were before getting information through our partners, so it was muted. So that's to me the biggest difference is that direct ownership of understanding what our customers and what hospitals need and want our products to do. And then adding Genio to our products has been a big difference. That it's just such a smart way for facilities to add that extra entertainment, education, and do so at just a really low cost way, not overcomplicate the system. The other thing that differentiates us too is our role as a U.S. manufacturer. I think during the supply chain mess of the last couple of years, that's something that people value now more than they did 5-7 years ago. So I think that's another differentiator and something I hope we can take advantage of going forward. I'm excited for the future of PDI. I think we'll continue to focus on enhancing our existing product lines with both hardware and software. And then, like I mentioned, I do think that our role as a U.S. manufacturer could lead us down some new and interesting paths, leveraging that benefit that we can bring to the market.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think our pro services is really a big bright spot in our future, and expanding beyond. People come here and they're totally shocked by our machine shop. There's not too many companies like us that are involved in displays and televisions for healthcare or any industry that has the capability that we have. And it goes back to our history and roots. I mean, we started out as Precision Industries, and we were a job shop and made parts for local OEMs and manufacturers, and we've always kept that capability. So we have the ability when it comes to forming and shaping metal and coming up with solutions for customers. It's a skill base that we carry to the marketplace, and it differentiates us from other people and gives us an opportunity to grow in ways that we wouldn't necessarily know.